Hey everybody, we're looking at Chapter 5, so this will be Chapter 5, Lesson 1. Chapter 5, Lesson 1, which has to do with motivation. Two types of motivation, or the breakdown of your two influences in motivation would be an internal desire or an external desire. External desire to participate in some type of recreation. A good example would be that you get paid. You might be a professional athlete that maybe doesn't like the game anymore, but you continue to motivate yourself to participate at a high level simply because you make a lot of money. Intrinsic is where most people find why they participate in recreation, and this is for the accomplishment of a goal, to make the accomplishment, to have something happen in recreation where you feel like you have accomplished something, and that's your internal or your intrinsic drive, is that you are being successful at that recreational pursuit, whether that's working out, playing a game of pickup basketball. It's intrinsic. You do it for you, and you're not doing it because you're socially pressured, because you're paid, because somebody wants you to. You do that because it makes you feel good. And some of the examples, or some of the reasons why folks participate on an intrinsic level, or there are several ways. One is that you can learn a new skill. That might be something that you want to do is your intrinsic motivation. I'm going to learn a new sport. I'm going to learn a new skill. Second is to be physically fit. Is that I want to feel the effects of a good workout and be physically fit. And lastly, a good intrinsic motivator is to relieve stress. Okay, to relieve stress. And so you either external or internal for your overall categories, two categories of motivation. Now within the external and the internal motivation, you have four subcategories. I don't even know something about each category. The first category of motivation is physical. You may have a physical motivator or physical motivators. Second is you'll have a social motivator. Third is a psychological motivator. And fourth is an emotional, intellectual, and or spiritual motivator. And there are several examples for these. Number one is a physical motivator, and a good example of that would be the presidential fitness test. Kids get all excited about that, doing as many pull-ups or push-ups as they can, or running the best mile time, or stretching as far as they can. They get a little reward for that. That's a physical motivator. Something to go after, to achieve. There's also been a significant rise in obesity, and that significant rise in obesity has led to a variety of other programs, such as the presidential physical fitness program, that would be physical motivators for children to get into shape, to eat better, and to be more active. Certainly the Nintendo Wii is a push to continue one's enjoyment of video games, yet get some physical exercise at the same time. Very smart, and a very good job done by those folks. In looking at more physical motivators, there simply be the desire for you to move, or cardiovascular health, endurance, aerobic activity. You want to get your heart rate up, you want to move, you want to feel your body be stronger, to have more endurance, to go longer, to do things that you're interested in doing. And so, or preserving and or maintaining cardiovascular health. One of the other physical motivators is the wellness concept of health. And what this is your whole being directly related to one's leisure pursuits. Okay? Doing things, kind of with a whole wellness concept. I just don't work out and then I go eat bad and have other bad habits, but I structure my life where I have good and positive wellness-based habits. And most of this most of those habits, or the desire to make new habits, come from a physical type motivator, where you want to get stronger, you want to look better, you want to feel better. These are physical motivators for participating in recreation. So most recreation has, I would say most, but a lot of recreation has some type of physical exercise going on with it. Second reason, or the second category of motivation, is social motivation. Do you know that only 2% of those that participate in recreational pursuits do it alone? Only 2% of those that participate in recreational pursuits do it alone. So there's a strong social motivator that gets us to participate in recreation. And most of it is about being with friends, forming relationships, making enduring relationships, making them consistent, and or mending relationships. Another thing that social motivators do is they bridge the gap, the generational gap, the race gap, the gender gap, because you can always go do something with someone. You can go to the batting cages with somebody, you can go see a movie with somebody. Recreation is what bonds all different types of people together, and that commonality can act as the base of a relationship, or many relationships. So recreation at its root is very social, and everyone here, or everyone in class, should have a strong social motivator. And I would say that those at the core of recreation. The social group, or the experience with the group, is at the core of recreation. Another thing that we have is that when children are developing, we've talked about how play and recreation are so important to a child's development. Well, a child learns many, many things through their social interaction in playtime, about how they should act, ways they behave, things they do and not do, say and not say with other people around. So they learn how to assimilate, how to socialize, and how to have a relationship with other people through their playtime and their recreation time. The other thing that's important for kids is that many kids can feel lonely or feel isolated, and so getting them involved in clubs and in recreational pursuits and sports teams gets them out and gets them forming bonds and making relationships with new and existing individuals alike. Third, what we have is a psychological reason, or psychological motivation, that some of you, and this is more found, of course, in adults, is that there's a reason, a strong psychological reason why you participate in your recreation. As we watched last week about the rock climbers, it's very interesting to analyze why do they participate in the sport that they do. It's very interesting to try to figure out, what are some of these reasons. Were there physical reasons? Certainly. Were there social motivators? Certainly. As you saw in climbing, it seemed like a very, very social sport. And then third here, are there some psychological motivators? Well, if we look, one of the subsections would be excitement and challenge. That one of the psychological motivators for recreation is that it is your excitement. Work might be very boring. Some of your relationships might be very boring, but you go out and you go on a cruise, or you do an adventure, or you do get involved in some sort of recreational-based travel club, and there is your excitement. There is your challenge. There's a new goal. There's an intrinsic drive to learn a new skill, to learn or to accomplish a particular recreation goal, to get healthy, to get stronger, whatever it is. And these are individuals that have kind of a strong sensation-seeking type of a personality, that are going to have a strong psychological motivation to base jump, to skydive, to do some extreme things, And there's a lot of money made in extreme sports, and so that's a big part of the industry. There's another group, however, though, that their psychological motivation is more about relaxation and escape. That they're interested in just escaping, relaxing, doing something that's really nice, taking a cruise, laying out by the pool, just enjoying oneself, having a beverage, and just relaxing. That's their goal. And this can happen in a variety of recreational pursuits. Next subsection is stress management. Is that there are many folks that are so stressed out at work that they don't care what they do, they just got to get out and do something. Usually exercise is what they choose, because exercise gets them going, and then they get the adrenaline and the endorphins, possible runner's high, a good cleanse. The muscles feel tired and they feel relaxed at the end, so the stress level goes down. That individual adapts better. And so there are many folks' psychological desire or motivation for recreation is based on stress management. Got to get the stress out, got to deal with the stress, got to go play basketball for an hour, got to go run, got to go do what I need to do.